Greetings. This is Phil Jadaborg, CEO of PJ Networks Computer Services, and I have been asked by a few clients and at least one staff member to create a brief overview of the Breach Secure Now end user portal. It's actually the management portal that I'm going to be showing you, and it covers all of the basics that are included in the Cyberlookout Sentry corporate subscription. The main purpose of the Cyberlookout Sentry programs are to get employees educated on how to protect data. It also helps them to learn how to identify a phishing email from a legitimate email, and it also will monitor a client's domain name and user credentials to see if they appear anywhere on the dark web, which normally means that they're up for sale to other hackers and criminals, and everybody wants to prevent that from happening. So a quick overview of the main page. The dashboard for my company shows that there's an average employee score, meaning that's the average score for all of the employees across all of the different training modules and videos that have been sent. There's also a company trend. We're not going to really get into that, but if you want to see overall how your company is trending, then you get it at a glance here. There's also an external data breaches number that doesn't indicate that your company has been infiltrated or breached in any way. What it indicates is that there were external breaches, meaning accounts that your company might have outside on the internet somewhere, whether they're Amazon, whether they're banking accounts, whoever they're with. It indicates that personal information may have been compromised in those breaches. And then there are some statistics to show you how employees are doing overall. There's also going to be a ranking for all of your employees and their scoring. Please don't take the scores that you see on the screen as being representative of how our employees are doing. We do actually have several different training programs, and this one is not the primary one that we currently use. Please note in the lower right-hand corner, there are self-help guides available anytime you need them. So if you want to do a quick research into any one of the components that we're going to cover today, just click on the self-help guides and you will get a very helpful explanation of what the feature is and how it can be used. The next tab that we see is training configuration. This is specifically for annual HIPAA security training. It's a 60-minute training video. It actually doesn't usually take quite that long to watch, followed by 20 questions. And at the end of the training video, you will have the opportunity to print out your score along with a certificate that shows that you passed a HIPAA training program. It's not necessarily an officially recognized document that you can take to other organizations and they have to recognize that you got the training, but for internal purposes and for outside vendors or maybe clients of yours asking if all of your employees have been trained on HIPAA compliance, it is a very nice looking certificate that you can print and hang on the wall, or just have available to prove that your employees have been taking HIPAA training. If you click on the Employees tab, it's a quick way to get an overview of how your employees are doing as far as how long since they last logged into the portal, whether they've acknowledged the welcome email, what their ESS score is, how many dark web trainings they've taken. I'm not even sure what that number represents, I'll be honest. Remediated breaches would be breaches that you are able to access from your own company and remediate. If there aren't any, then you don't actually have the ability to do anything about them because there's nothing to remediate. Data breaches, once again, is outside sources, not within your own organization. There are policies that you can click on that will show you what policies are in place for those individual employees and which ones that they've read and basically agreed to. It tells you the access level that each employee has to your HIPAA compliance portal or your Breach Secure Now portal, what the status is of the employee, and then if there's been any bounced emails that were sent to them. As far as training reports, this gives you the ability to show what each employee has done as far as training on the last certificate that the certificate exam that they took. In this case, Jesse Blackstock got his training certification for HIPAA compliance. This would be the certificate that could be printed and hung on the wall or kept in a folder to show that your employees have been trained on the basics of HIPAA and privacy training. There's a directory sync option that allows you to synchronize which employees of your company are kept in the Cyberlookout Sentry training portal, but this is something that we would manage for your company, so I don't really think there's much value in diving too deeply into this. We can absolutely help you, and in most cases, because our clients are not huge, as a general rule, we just manually update those on a monthly basis. Next, you're going to find a list of policies, security and compliance policies. These are requirements. If you're doing HIPAA or CMMC or NIST compliance, you are required to have a certain set of policies in place, such as a security officer policy, which tells you whether or not your company has a designated security officer. If you don't have all of the policies that you currently need, the good news is under the Documents tab, you will see that there are templates for pretty much all of the different compliance policies that you may need. So you would simply click on one, download it. It's going to download a Word doc version of that document that you can fill out with your company name. It'll basically have, company name will be replaced by your company name. You'll review it to make sure that all of the policies are in alignment with the way you run your business. Then you would save it, you would sign it, you would save it. Won't give you, so you'll already have downloaded it from the documents page. You'll fill out the template, and then you'll click on new policy. You'll give it a name, a description, and then you will upload that, and then it will show up in your repository for all of your company documents. You can keep policies, and then there's other policies which would be things that don't fall under normal HIPAA or CMMC compliance. You can use the other policy designation. SRA is your self-assessment that you can do for your company. It gives you the ability to basically take your own security assessment, 48 questions that absolutely stick to normal HIPAA security guidelines. It will ask you questions about what policies you have in place, what training you may be doing, what physical security you have, and at the end, it's going to give you the ability to download that assessment, and it'll give you a score based on that you can then save in your repository. So that would be if you're a company that wants to perhaps do a self-assessment before you bring somebody in to do a paid professional assessment. Then there's an SRA, that's your assessment reports. If you click on one, you can see, for example, the one that we did at the end of last year. It basically is broken up into different categories and questions, and it tells you where you are compliant and areas that you can improve in. So it's great for getting yourself prepared for a professional HIPAA compliance audit. The dark web tab tells you where different credentials have shown up on the dark web. It also gives you partially redacted passwords for those accounts that have had a compromised password. This is a way that you can quickly glance and see if anybody has recently been compromised within your organization, and then see if there's anything you can do about it. The main thing would be going and changing the credentials anywhere that user may have used that password for that compromised account. You absolutely want to change those credentials, because when hackers get their hands on credentials, they will try the password with that username across 100 or 1,000 different websites, hoping that they'll get lucky. So to always change credentials whenever you get alerted that they've been compromised. There's a phishing monitoring tab that tells you how the different phishing simulations have gone, what the scores were, how many people opened them, all different kinds of information to be found there. So if you want to quickly find out how your employees are doing when it comes to the phishing simulations, go to that tab and click on any individual campaign, and you'll get the details of it. Tracking is simply a place to track incidents. If you had a data breach inside your company, whether it was a physical break-in, whether it was somebody getting into a server, whether it was somebody from the outside getting in, you would be legally required in most cases to create a new incident. And then at that point, you can not only do the incident report, but it'll give you an opportunity to show whatever remediation steps you've taken. This is absolutely required anytime there's any kind of a security related incident. You have to create an incident report, and notice PJ Networks hasn't had one. And then there's another one that you can use just for tracking whenever somebody gets into your server room. Most organizations are satisfy that compliance by having a sign-in sheet that they'll keep next to the server room, and the visitor or whatever vendor comes in will sign an entry date and with their name, company name, the time they went in the server room, and the time they left the server room, so that if there is a security incident, you can easily identify who might have been physically within access of the server at that time. And this is a free employee assessment. PJ Networks has offered this for years to our clients and non-clients, where you can generate a 20-question cybersecurity assessment. You can email a link that will be generated by this to all of your employees. They will take the assessment. When they're done, the results are automatically sent back to the portal, and then you can look at how your employees did, generally speaking, on the different categories. An example here would be, I've already signed in once. Let me get that code one more time. I'll log in really quickly to show you what it looks like. So please bear with me. All right, so basically each employee would get a link to this that they can open in a web browser, and then it's going to ask them a series of 20 questions broken into 6 categories to see how much knowledge the employee has. For I happen to know that ransomware payments are normally asked for in cryptocurrencies. Next, you notice that it does time you. There's a certain time limit for the entire exam. It's plenty of time. Somebody should be able to fairly easily go through this test. And it's just testing their general knowledge. They don't really need to study for it. There's no training video. This is just generally understanding what your employees' knowledge is regarding cybersecurity, because it's a great starting point to know where to focus. So I think that wraps up the overview of Cyberlookout Sentry Corporate, otherwise known as Breach Secure Now. You might also see links from time to time from the Portal PII Protect platform. Those are the training videos and the phishing simulations. So the bottom line is many of our clients are signed up for this training program that have never even logged into the portal. Others have logged into it but didn't really understand what to do with it. This training video has just been provided as a basis for understanding what resources are available to you as part of this program, and hopefully to get more out of it than you have in the past. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, Tori Bilderback is the person in charge of this program for PJ Networks. You can email her at Tori, T-O-R-I, at pj-networks.com. You can always, of course, call our help desk team for support, or you can reach out to me directly, Phil Jadaborg, which is phil at pj-networks.com. Thank you for your time and your attention, and I hope you'll get a lot out of this program.